Hi, if you're someone who wants to get their hand dirty and want to learn coding by saying the production level application, then this video is for you. Earlier, it was very hard, it was very impossible to understand architecture, understand code from the production level, and you had to find your way in and you had to do a lot of debugging to reach to that level. But now that is not like impossible. You can do it easily with the help of AI. And today I'm going to talk about one of those tools which you can use on any GitHub open source repository, or you can use it for your own private repository, and you can index that code, you can understand the architecture, and you can ask follow-up questions, and you can get suggestions for new code. So let's get into the video. So I'm going to talk about Deepwiki. If you don't know, this is again from the Devon AI. If you know that it was earlier in the trend where it was built to replace the software engineer, and it was very trend like in hype. And from that company only Deepwiki was found, and it is very beneficial. So let me give you one example. For example, this is one open source repository. Obviously, you can go to Deepwiki and you can read any architecture. But do you think you need to understand Mermaid.js? You don't need to build a big application. If you're a SaaS founder and if you're an indie hacker, you need to start something with small. And the best way to get started is nothing but your a starter kit. And this is a starter kit, and this is a boilerplate code which I've created, which comes with better SDK for authentication, authorization, Polar for payments, Next.js for whole application, then Postgres for database. So let's say it in Deepwiki how the architecture looks like. So whenever you see a open source repository in GitHub, you just need to do deepwiki.com like this one, and it will open the repository. If it is not indexed by someone earlier, it will take time to index, and it will email you when that is done because it asks email for you. Now let's understand how to understand the Deepwiki's response. So you can see in the left there is a technological stack. Let me zoom in for you guys. So you can see in the left there is a technological stack environment setup. So if you want to see the overview of the application, you can obviously read it. You can see system architecture design, what are the technical stack. If you see the architecture, since this is in Next.js, how the route actually works, route layout, and then the page, then the auth group API routes. You can understand it. If you don't know how Next.js works and what is Next.js file structure, I've created a video in the past which you can watch in my channel on how to understand Next.js, and it will obviously help you to understand this architecture. Now it comes with data flow as well. So what happens is that in Next.js browser, we send request to our BetterAuth for sign up, then it insert that data to Postgres using Drizzle ORM. Then it sends a cookie. Then it checks the session and tier. Then it's check the sessions from the Polar. This is how the data flow works, and this is very beneficial if you're someone who is new and want to understand how data flow works in an Next.js architecture in an existing code, and how you can replicate that for your own use case. And this is how data flows, this is how the architecture looks, and what are the system component, database layer, and this is an overview. Now if you want to go in depth, you want to understand how what is internalization, like converting it to different languages, you can see how this particular architecture I've designed, and things like that, how data flow works and what are the fallbacks. And you can understand a lot of things by just going through this Deepwiki. Now this is not only Deepwiki thing. If you want to ask some question, you can ask question about this repository. So if you don't want to get into the complexities of this works, you just want to get started directly. Like if you want to copy this repository, fork this repository, and get continue with it, then how would you do it? So you can always copy a prompt, or you can ask question. So for example, I prepared this question. I want to integrate AI chatbot using Versal AI SDK. Where should I code it? So let it do without deep research, and let's see the response. So without deep research, it is creating a response, and you can see based on the codebase context how to use AI SDK and all. It has given me the code suggestion and all, and I can paste this response. So you can see it comes with copy response. I can paste this response to Cloudpod and any other tool, and it will generate the new code for me, and you can see how to create this one. Now this was without deep research. Now I have also prepared one research with deep research, and same question, same repository, same Deepwiki, and you can see how detailed this one is. and it has given us the new dependencies, what dependencies we require, what hooks we require. It is not very detailed, like it contains some error in my opinion. Let me reload this one to see how it works. Okay, so it comes with some problem, but you get the point. You will always get proper results, proper response if you ask the correct question in a correct way and in detailed way, and it will give you a fantastic answer, and you can copy that response to your cloud code or cursor to build that feature and build that application by forking it or by understanding the code of this particular repository. So this is what I want to tell about how to use Deepwiki, what Deepwiki is, and how it can help you to understand any code in the internet which is open source in GitHub, or if it is a closed source, and if you have the code, you can index it in your own private repository and you can understand the code. So for example, if you're working in a company and your company allows or use Deepwiki for internal use case, then you can index that repository and you can ask and you can understand the code base way better. So that's why Deepwiki is very important, and it can help you build any application. And seeing the production level application, you can code production level code. So this is what I want to tell you. And from tomorrow onwards, I will cover some of the best GitHub repository which I have observed in the past, and I will share you and how to learn from them. So till then, take care and bye. Peace.